Inside Out 2, Riley discovers kink.
I'm keeping it.
I mean, it's like you said, she grows up, she starts seeing imaginary friends, and
They're into stuff.
they're a little different than they were before. I mean, considering that, like, they're from hell, you could at least say that, like, anger was the sin for rage, and, like,
Yeah.
let's not go too deep into this.
It translates in a weird way.
Yeah, let's not go too deep. It's gonna be, this is too easy to actually take somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
This evening's already been thoroughly derailed.
So we saw Hellraiser.
Yeah, we watched Hellraiser.
And, let's see, so how do we, you have, like, mild familiarity.
A little bit. Like, I watched Hellraiser 2 because I dated someone who really liked horror movies, and that just happened to be on Netflix.
I have been a lifetime Hellraiser fan. I'm a big fan of Clive Barker. I've read several of his books. I don't think I read The Hellbound Heart, actually. I read The Damnation Game. But I've seen the first two and then, like, 4 or 5 of the random sequels that happened. I've seen Hellworld, I think.
Okay.
Which is the one where it's like an early internet version.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah.
There's like an online version of it. It's like an MMO. It's bad, but it's fun bad.
Yeah.
And then there's one that's like, I think it's Inferno, where it's a detective who starts investigating a case, and it's clearly a movie that wasn't intended to be a Hellraiser movie at first. Like, the Cenobites just have a cameo at the end. But it's a decent enough, like, 1408 style, like, Jacob's Ladder style hallucinatory thriller. But yeah, Hellraiser has had its ups and downs. I even watched that most recent one that people said was actually pretty good. It was not pretty good. It was actually pretty bad. And they said that it, like, expands the world of the Cenobites and introduces more lore. No, it has, like, 2 minutes of exposition at the end with 2 Cenobites arguing with each other about, like, yes, well, now that you've done this, this council will do this and this and this. It's, like, the worst LARPing I've seen. It's pretty bad. So, I have a lot of attachment to the Hellraiser franchise, but also not a lot of hope. And when
that feels pretty fair.
Yeah, when we heard that this was coming from David Bruckner, I was a little more hopeful.
And how did it ultimately shake out for you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. It's not like an instant classic or anything, but it's definitely the best Hellraiser we've gotten since the second one. Like, by far.
I mean, Hulu's doing pretty well right now. Give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
With, like, their horror reboots.
I mean, I wouldn't even call this a reboot. I would call it just like another entry in the franchise. I know that it's just named Hellraiser, but at this point, like, they would have to name it something like Hellraiser 9 or 10 or some shit, and who gives a shit? And putting, like, a random word after the word Hellraiser does kind of, like, lowers the interest level, I think.
And they could have gone with, like, Hellraiser 9 Circles. I feel like that would work.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch that. It sounds like a straight-to-DVD fucking bullshit.
And most of these have been straight-to-DVD fucking bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. They would think that it was just like that, and this should not be put in the same category as those. Honestly, I really wish I could have seen this in a theater. It was a decent enough movie.
Sorry, before we get on camera, Mahan embarrassed the shit out of me. In a very personal way, so I'm still recovering from it. Rightfully so. I'm not going to say it was uncalled for.
I gave him my laptop, my old laptop, 3 years ago.
And I keep forgetting to use it.
Forgetting to use it, Michael?
Actually, like, that
I reminded you multiple times about it.
And I keep forgetting.
Okay.
And I'm going to stick with that.
Instead of selling it, I gave it to him so he would have something that had hard drive space and processor power and, like, could export in, like, proper 1080p and stuff. And
I keep it in a safe place. Cause I remember, like, this is a valuable item. I'm going to keep it safe. Mm-hmm. But then that means I don't see it. And then I was like...
It's a useful item, Michael. Put it somewhere you see it so you feel guilty enough to actually use it sometime.
But I'm afraid if I put it somewhere I could see it, then I'm gonna do something, gonna break it or something like that, and that's where a lot of the concern comes in, because I've seen what happens.
I'd rather that happen than you not use it for 3 years!
Okay.
This is why the videos are still not in 1080p.
You're literally the only person who's ever cared.
I mean, enough to mention it.
But no, you're literally the only person that's ever mentioned
We're
it.
in 2022, Michael. I'm watching things in 4K all the time. I'm disappointed when YouTube videos are not in 4K.
Yes, how dare a stream of consciousness video of two jackasses arguing like an old married couple not be in 1080p.
We have a devoted but small fan base that wants their content in high definition. They want to see every wrinkle on our faces as they contort in the various emotions that we
I
have.
don't want them to see every wrinkle on my aging face. Especially my birthday in like a week.
Not even that old.
I feel
You're not
old.
even old.
I feel old spiritually.
You're just not in your 20s.
I'm very well aware of that.
And that's just trauma, buddy. That's just a lifetime of trauma. We both have it. My skin's great, but it's probably like the estrogen partially at least. But I've had decent skin. Like, it's fine.
And I have terrible skin. And
Age gracefully, Michael.
I
welcome the void.
That
ever
doesn't
encroaching.
mean I want evidence of that existing on the internet for other assholes who will go out to hate me and other stuff to point out in vivid detail.
Do you want skincare stuff? I have it.
Honestly, I need to go see a dermatologist. Everything I've tried doesn't work.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But
Well, I can show you some products that have been pretty nice. if you
I
want.
mean, I'm open to suggestions.
Yeah, okay. We can look at it after the video.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Anyway,
Skincare routine.
just need to get that out there because that was going to be the cloud hovering over my head the entire video. So
Use the laptop, Michael.
Okay.
Shame.
I have been properly shamed. All right. Okay. Knocked down. Like the funny thing is, like I don't get embarrassed by much. It's legitimately hard to embarrass me about things, but when
That's my phone.
when it happens, like this one, it is so
No,
specifically destructive.
it's like when I get sick. I don't get sick often, but the ones that get through my immune system, holy shit.
Yeah.
Wipe me out for like a week. Like, just real bad.
And this one has me breaking out into sweats. My body's like just like panic mode
And
sinks in.
see, if you exported in higher definition, people could see every bead of sweat. In
Why would I
4K.
want them to see that?
Cinema?
Look, all right. When we
so-
actually follow through and get a set, then it makes more sense to go in 1080p.
Why?
Because we'll have a set and it looks prettier.
Yeah, and that's when you go to 4K. You should have been in 1080p.
Punch you.
Phones have recorded in 4K for years, Michael.
I'm gonna punch you multiple times.
All right, fine. The concerts I've pirated over the past couple of months are up on YouTube.
Are you done?
No, I'm gonna, now that I realize that this is like a gold mine, I'm gonna keep mining it until you use the fucking laptop. So,
Good.
that is the resolution. You doing the thing.
Fine.
Your shame means nothing to me. Your action does.
Okay.
The result of years of shitty relationships.
So Hellraiser. Let's talk about Hellraiser. It's pretty good. It's
pretty good.
It's a pretty solid movie.
Pretty great.
The main character definitely has dumb main character syndrome for about 2/3 of the movie.
She does. She's also like a hopelessly lost mess of an addict of a child of a 20-something. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, I understand it to an extent, but there's only so many times when you carry around something that conveniently people start disappearing around, and then it's like, hey, maybe I shouldn't take it to the next place I'm going. That just seems like the logical through thread on that. Granted, when they finally, without going to spoilers, when they do kind of like get to a point where she starts wising up the way to keep the action moving, like, okay, I like this, that makes sense, that raises the stakes, it's a good setup, it's a good payoff. But up till then, I was getting a little frustrated. I was like, just leave the box in the car. Just don't take it with you. For
Every time she leaves it, like, even in the other room, it fucking disappears. Like, someone tries to take it. So, like,
I mean, to be
understand.
fair, it's because we can't go now. Going on spoilers, so I'm gonna save that reason for later.
Later. Okay. But as it stands, soundtrack's okay. It's not some crazy original soundtrack, but it fits the bill for a horror movie like this. It does the job. The effects are great.
The effects are fantastic.
I love the Cenobite designs.
Yeah, Cenobite. I was gonna bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah, the new updated Cenobites are pretty cool.
Nice mix of practical and CGI.
Yes.
I did like anything involving like the actual box, you know, how it like transforms, how the rooms transform, and how those kind of play into it. All that stuff's really cool to watch.
You know what I was thinking of?
What's that?
Like, I would really, after The Night House and this, I would love to see this director tackle a movie of Control.
Ooh. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Granted, that game already makes no sense, but you know.
Well, they'd have to compress it down to an actual movie time, so they would actually either have to like make sense of it or just completely let go and go abstract.
But they gotta go with the killer fridge. I mean, that just has to stay.
Oh yeah, no, there are things in that game that have to still be in the movie for fun. But yeah, it's like they really did a good job of understanding what was actually cool about the source material. This isn't just a studio cash grab. This is people involved who actually know where this comes from and enjoy it for what I feel are the right reasons and are trying to do it actual justice.
Yeah, and like you obviously know a lot more about that than I would.
Oh, yeah.
But that being said, as a casual viewer of the Hellraiser franchise, which again is being pretty generous, like I said, like my understanding is always kind of been intended to be like, yeah, definitely heavy body horror. But also among that, there's supposed to be like the idea of like psychological punishment, and just like self torture and like obviously like biblical imagery and stuff like that.
Yeah, not as much.
Not as much.
Not as much.
Okay, I mostly get that like Pinhead's monologues.
The general idea of what the Cenobites represent is that good is boring, and you know, the interesting things lie in the darkness. It is as goth as you can fucking get. Like, and when it comes to the idea of like, I don't know, you could connect this, there's definitely connection to deep kink. A lot of the fucking costume designs in Hellraiser have always been connected to kink.
Oh yeah.
But the leather and the straps and the pins and all that shit, suspension chains, but like the idea that they have that there are just infinite sensations to experience. They may not be the ones you want to experience, but there are infinite sensations. And that's really where they're coming from, where like they are the angels of hell, so to speak. They are representations of that other side, and just they're not suffering in a way that they don't enjoy. They're suffering because they have truly crossed over into this other side, and they want to share that suffering with other people. It really is this dark side kind of thing. It's their job technically, but they definitely love it. So yeah, there's definitely cool stuff in there, and there's a little more direct connections to kink in this one. There's definitely a dungeon room that comes up at one point where stuff eventually happens.
Gotta give props to set design too.
Oh yeah, no, fantastic set design, especially when they get to the place that most of the second half of the movie takes place, or at least the third act. But it's pretty well acted.
Yeah, the performance is all pretty good.
Yeah.
Again, Riley's kind of hard to root for a good chunk of the film.
Yeah, at first, yeah.
Like I did find myself rooting for her towards the end, but I'm not sure if that's because like I don't know how much that's character growth as so much as last person standing.
Well, it could also be a bit of like she stopped being so fucking stupid.
And kind of insufferably combative to literally everybody.
Yeah, I mean she's used to being an addict and a child, so.
Which again, from a character standpoint, I understand.
Sure.
From a like,
how are you not able to root for her, but you were cool with Uncut Gems?
Because I never thought you were supposed to root for the character in Uncut Gems.
I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why I found him insufferable.
Which is fair. Like,
movie.
yeah.
Like I just couldn't even watch him. I was like, I fucking hate this guy.
Yeah. But you're supposed to root for Riley. You weren't supposed to root for.
You're just supposed to root for her on a certain level, but I think at first it's definitely this thing where it's like, oh man, she's gonna do some dumb shit, and you're just not gonna be able to stop her.
Yeah. But I think it does run into that horror movie problem. I think at least in the first half of just trying to very loosely justify why she's doing what she's doing.
I think they did a pretty good job with that, actually.
You think so?
As far as horror movies go.
Okay.
They did a decent job with justifying how she's kind of freaking out, and like when she's not even high anymore and she's fighting against people, it's people who are basically trying to shut her down or tell her that she's not doing things the right way, but she's convinced that she's right in how she's pursuing it. Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna leave that there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know. Mileage may vary. It doesn't really matter.
I don't
In the
know.
end,
There's like also points where she's like, hey, look, I found this out. We need to go there. I was like, but why?
because she's trying to find her brother.
I just feel like I don't know. It seems like a big leap from. She isn't really like her brother's more like trying to figure out what's going on. I guess.
Find her brother. The whole point is to find her brother.
I guess.
The whole motivation through the movie is to find her brother.
But I don't know. It feels like she's like trying to figure out. I don't know. Either way.
I have a sibling that I love very much. I could tell that was the emotional through line that was motivating her.
Oh, so you have family that you love.
Yeah. Sorry, Michael.
I love my sisters, don't get me wrong.
I managed to have a couple that I salvaged out of there, alright? So
well, good for you.
The rest can go fuck themselves. But you know.
Anyway, I don't know. It just to me, it was too much of a leap for me to really fully get behind. Again, at the very least, after some point where you begin to realize a lot of it's connected to the box.
Sure, but it wasn't as bad as like Smile. And
I'm not saying it is, but it was just mildly distracting for me. That's it.
Sure, yeah, but I was able to root for her more than I was able to root for like the main character of Smile.
I don't know. I kind of put them on the same level of idiocy, honestly.
No,
you don't think so?
No, no.
Maybe that's just the opposite problem because
not even close.
Her idiocy didn't bother me as much in Smile as it did you.
I'm not. Oh, I have so much to say there.
Look, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it didn't bother me as much.
Yes, but I'm saying you're wrong. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that she was a therapist who needs to understand how people interact with therapists and what crazy people look like, and she immediately starts doing exactly the stuff that the person that she didn't believe towards people who are less likely to be patient with her than she was with her patient.
Okay, point proven.
She just doesn't fucking... And what the shit she says to her sister on the porch. This shit was hilarious. And she doesn't open with the like, all right, listen, like, I've got evidence. She's like, there's a demon out here.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, at least Riley doesn't fucking. She knows to say like, I don't understand what's happening. She doesn't go out and say like, there are invisible demons following me around and like they want me to kill people, and like she doesn't open up that side until other people start seeing them.
Okay, point taken. Point goes to you.
I'm passionate about my horror movies and the distinctions between what makes some of them good and bad. That's it, okay?
Look, I'm just feeling really pushed down for you,
it's
by you this evening.
For me. It's important to me, okay? It's important.
I feel like you're trying to put me in a box right now. It's making me uncomfortable.
No. I'm trying to correct you.
You hear how that sounds, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I know exactly how that sounds, and I don't care. I'm right, and I know it. You will learn.
Okay, this is legit starting to make me a little uncomfortable. Let's move on.
No! I'm rewinding our light.
There you go.
That's fine. Okay, so aside from that.
Aside from
the rootability of the main character.
Yeah.
There's...
The important parts you care about are good.
Yeah. She's fine. She's fine. And the other characters are also fine for the most part.
She gets the job done. She drives the plot.
Yeah. And the way that the events progress are actually not entirely stupid throughout the movie, which I appreciated.
Yeah, like particularly in the third act, I thought they did a pretty good throw line of like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
The logic tracks. The stakes are raised. Everything follows through, and it allows you to actually see the Cenobites more in their full glory, and let the new actress who's playing Pinhead, shows what she's got. It's pretty cool.
I appreciate also that they don't try to over-explain certain things.
Yeah.
Like, there are certain points where it's like, well, why is this working this way? It's like, I don't know, you're seeing magic fucking torture kink demons from hell. Fucking it's okay. This is also magic. It just makes sense.
Sure,
like,
why not?
This is a magic barrier. It's clearly this guy studied it. Like, whatever, just go with it. But the overall tone of the movie, I think, was pretty successful. It did a good job. I mean, what else is there to say without spoilers?
I think it just a little joke for me is the whole. Was the blade in the original Hellraiser at the box?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
In the original Hellraiser, they had to actually murder people, like, manually over it. And then feed it their blood.
Got it. Okay, so yeah, that's the one twist in the reboot, or not reboot, sequel, whatever.
Yeah.
Is that when they solve the puzzle, Blade comes down and stabs them, and that's what feeds the box, and that's what summons the Cenobites.
Which makes more sense on a certain level.
Yeah, it does.
I do appreciate that alteration.
But I do just kind of have a funny image of the Cenobites just, like, invisibly watching somebody solve the box, like, get it, and the Blade misses, like, son of a bitch! Alright, fine, how do we get this? Okay, well, like, that's technically a way in, right? We can use that.
Does that count? Can we count technicality? It's been, like, 130 years, man. Just, like, let us just do this one.
Look, I just want to make sure I'm following procedure, okay?
Yeah, right.
Remember to Jerry?
There are protocols, man. Yeah, no, but,
like it's not. Anyway, spoilers?
Spoilers.
Right. So, where to begin?
I don't know.
Okay, fine.
What do you want to talk about out of the spoilers? Honestly, I feel pretty okay with the rest of the review.
I think it was mostly the third act. I think it was worth talking about just because of how well it does work and all the pieces do click together.
I mean, yeah. But you say what you want to say. Like, I feel comfortable just saying, yeah, they worked. Pretty much.
Well, it's more like going back to what I was saying before. Is like I do appreciate that the third act really is resolved by a case like she actually does try to throw the goddamn box in the water.
Yeah, right.
Which after like what 3-4 people died at this point, she's like, hey, maybe holding this box around is bad.
Throw the box in the river.
And like I kind of wish they just did that earlier, just so we can kind of at the very least establish that there's something preventing her from throwing it in there.
Sure, but at the same time, I also feel like there's a thing where it's like she thinks that she needs the box to understand it and to lead her to the next thing, and she thinks the box might actually be important to getting rid of them too. Maybe I don't know, but I feel like there's an understandable level of why she didn't do it sooner.
At the same time, so many lives could have been spared if she was like, I'm just gonna leave the box at home. Anyway, but the movie doesn't happen. So at the end of the day, that's one of those things you just take with a grain of salt.
You gotta remember, David S. Goyer was involved in the writing of this.
That is a fair point.
So
very valid point.
There's a little bit of like just convenience we're gonna have to put in there.
For sure. But I did appreciate that. I like the twist of like the box stabs her now she's kind of tied to it and she has to make that moral choice. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a fun twist with it.
Man, I love the box effects.
The box effects are really cool.
Creative reimagining of the original Lament configuration.
And I like even just the imagery of just the Cenobite just standing outside of this fucking Resident Evil house. And the whole prison system there I thought was really cool. And again, just the way everything includes is like,
little pig, let us in.
I am curious, like...
We're not going to get tired and go home. We don't need to use the bathroom. We're going to be here. I don't know where you're going to go. Also, what did dude eat for 6 years?
I was kind of wondering that, too.
Yeah, right? I mean, he's a billionaire. Maybe he just has DoorDash forever. He's just like, it's fucking...
Like, does he eat? Because he's got, like, a whole fucking thing through his torso.
Yeah, but that's, like, the chest. The stomach's, like, here. I'm sure, he's still alive. That's kind of the point.
I mean, I guess, but it also kind of goes through his heart too. So
I just pushed aside, make room for it.
I guess.
Look, all I'm saying is that thing was pretty fucking cool.
It was cool. I was actually gonna ask what your opinion was of the very last scene in the movie when he's.
Dude, when it goes like back together, like that was so fucking well done. I love seeing. Special effects artists like do shit like that because you get to see how they decide the anatomy stitches back together in what order when it like heals magically, and
it does feel like a mixture of like CGI and practical.
Yeah, it was really intricate here. I really enjoyed that. Like, there's some really great fucking horror like effects, like gore kind of stuff, like,
or even like the blind Cenobite they show like halfway through. Again, that just kind of reminded me of Resident Evil monster.
Oh yeah.
With the strings and all that shit. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Like again, super cool designs. I'm curious, like, and you know this more than I would as a Hellraiser fan. Like, what is this? Like, the ending was basically the evil dude becoming a Cenobite, right?
Yes.
Okay. Was the Jesus imagery intentional there, or?
It's the idea that becoming a Cenobite is essentially a decree from heaven on a certain level.
Okay.
That they are not existing out. It's kind of like that twisted take on Christianity where it's like, look, the devil's there for a reason. He's doing his job. Like, this doesn't happen because God doesn't want it to. Like,
Yeah.
what was it? It reminds me of that old Sarah Silverman joke, and she's talking about like this random fucked up stuff, and she's like, when God gives you AIDS, and God does give you AIDS, like it's just, you know, she's Jewish, she likes poking the fucking Christianity bear sometimes, and like I really appreciate that because that's very true. Like, and that's always the kind of thing that you will have the counter argument of like, well, without suffering we wouldn't have good, and like enjoyment, and without like evil we wouldn't have good, and like all that fucking rationalization bullshit that people use to try to explain things that do not have a good explanation because they, you know, they just don't.
And God looked upon hell and said, "Here thou shalt be kink demons."
Yes.
And it shall be good.
Kink beyond imagining. But yeah, no, it really is this thing where it's like, these guys are here because God wants them to be.
God was really drunk that day.
Being indoctrinated as a new Cenobite is a level of exquisite agony and a true honor that you experience awash with fucking light. So like,
That tracks.
yeah, no, it really, I mean, if anything, it feeds more into the kink theory, because
It really does.
you know,
Yeah.
but
What a fun image to end a movie on, though, right?
yeah, right.
That's all I really want to talk about. So,
Alright.
we still gotta watch Halloween Ends. If you don't want to watch, I'll go see it myself.
No, I do want to watch it. I need to watch it. It's the thing where, like, people say that it's the best of the new trilogy, which isn't saying much, but,
Well, the first one was good.
yeah, but, like, yeah. I know it's really significant for Jamie Lee Curtis, and I am really interested to see how they tie the other elements in there, because they really did dig into the ugliness of the townfolk in the last one, and they say that that actually comes up more in this one.
I guess we'll find out.
Hopefully not in as ridiculously fucking stupid of a way as the last one. So
Yeah, that was dumb.
that was really... Let's chase this random crazy homeless person for like an hour of the movie, and then when he finally gets murdered by this angry mob, all of us are like, wait, he's not 7.5 feet tall and built like a brick wall?
Completely forgot about the homeless man.
That's like the other plot in the movie. Like, they really do have this thing where all these people think this dude is a full 2 feet shorter than fucking Michael Myers is Michael Myers. And, like, they fucking hate mob him out of a fucking 3rd or 4th story hospital window. And then suddenly realize, wait, maybe this wasn't the guy. Oh, no. Which felt like a really shaky commentary on mob mentality.
Yeah, I did not really hold much water.
Yeah. Although after the fucking insurrection, that kind of hits a little different. I don't know. We'll see. In any case, we'll go see Michael Myers stab some more innocent people.
Yeah.
Any other horror movies coming up? Horror.
Horror?
Horror.
I don't know of any off the top of my head. I'm sure I'll find it off soon.
There's another movie on Hulu about an evil meme come to life, called Grim Cuddy. I kind of wanted to check that out.
I don't know. We're getting close to Oscar season, so I know it's gonna get a lot busier pretty soon. So I'm kind of batting down the hatches, and then we just gotta catch up a bunch of shit in December.
Sure, fine.
So, we'll watch what we can when we can. Meantime, thank y'all for watching. See you later.
Wait, hold up. Human Centipede. We can do that.
No, we can't.
We can totally do
No,
that.
we can't.
We can
It's
fit
done.
time.
It's fine. No.
I have it right